all the information about a smart contract you find here. So this is a really important site even when you develop. And let's get actually started to hook up our own user interface to Metamask. So what we can do here is, I'm going to close this. So if you want to follow along coding, we will write everything in HTML and JavaScript. And I recommend that you have your own local host up and running. If you do, then it's really simple. Then you can just, there are only 2 files that we are working with. Then you can just create a folder and create 2 files in that folder, one index.html file and one JavaScript file. And also, well, you don't even need this for this tutorial, a CSS file. But let me go back here. So what we are going to build here is this here. This is just here an example on how to connect to the blockchain, because this is the first thing that we have to learn, is how to connect to the blockchain from a user interface. So I'm going to log this here. When I refresh the page, and so let me actually show you the code as well. So when we come here, this is the code. So it's all written in JavaScript and simple HTML right here. And JavaScript, so the first thing is what we do is we're looking in the browser if there's Metamask installed. So if there's support for web3, we check for Metamask here. And if there is Metamask available here in our browser, then we see here the enable Ethereum button. And when we click on it, so let me show you here. We have here this enable Ethereum button. If we click on here, we make Metamask pop up, and then we have to log in. If I take the same URL and go here to my incognito window, so where is it? And I paste in the URL. Then we see we got here install Metamask popping up, because we don't have incognito window doesn't have access to our web3 stuff, and therefore we have to first install Metamask. So if I click on it, we get redirected to Google Chrome, and then, well, I'm on in incognito mode, so I cannot do this, but usually you click, so the user clicks on this link here, then the Chrome Web Store pops up and he can install Metamask. This is the idea behind this. Let's go back here to my original. And when our browser detects Ethereum, then we can actually continue here, so we can log in. And then we can see the current logged in address, and we can see our mainnet balance of the BNB token. Okay, so you see the address here. You don't see anything here, I'm just seeing here. So let me refresh this, because for some reason that Metamask thing doesn't change. So I'm going to log out from here and let me refresh it. Maybe you can see something here. So when you come here, you just click here, enable Ethereum. Metamask is supposed to pop up, so I don't know why you don't see it, but you just enter now your password, log into Metamask, and here we go, we get all the information here. So, and yeah, if you want to follow along here with this tutorial, So everything is going to be written in JavaScript and in HTML. And let's get started here. So the first thing that we need to do is I'm going to delete everything here. So I leave the script tag actually here. I'm going to delete all of these divs here, and I leave the page title. So the first thing that we need to do is we create here our HTML document. I'll just change the title here. Let's see, Metamask tutorial. And then, as I said, we have here our index.html file, and I got here the connection.js file. Don't worry about the content, we're going to write everything here together. So, actually, I can delete this. And yeah, if you want to follow along, there are two ways. Like, either you have it hosted on your local host where you can just create a folder and then have these two files in here, index.html and con.js. Or what you can do if you do not have a browser, so your server setup, your localhost server setup, then you can actually create your own server in Flask. And I did a tutorial about this just recently. And so let me close this. And here are my videos. Where is it? I show you everything you need to get started to set up your own server. So that you need a virtual environment in Python, and then you can watch this video on how to set up your Flask server in Python. So, but you also need to have Python installed for this one. I will just stick here with my localhost. So I have my files here in my localhost, as you can see up here, and I will just code in here. And as I said, so if I refresh this page now, it should be empty. There you go, perfect. And now we can go back here to my code. And yeah, we have here our HTML document. We have a body. I'm gonna remove this here as well. So we have here HTML, then we have a header with the page title, and then we have a body, and at the end of the body we have our script tag where we link to our JavaScript file. In my case it's called con.js. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a button here on our user interface, and we just call it button class enable Ethereum button, and then it says enable Ethereum. And in our con.js file we go up here, and all we need to do is we write this line of code here. And in this case, all we do here is if type of window.ethereum is not undefined, console log Metamask is installed. So meaning if we have Metamask installed, then we get here a console log saying Metamask is installed. And we can do here add an else statement. So in case it is not Metamask, then we can console log something else. We console log install Metamask, and we save this, and then we hook up our button. So actually we don't even need to hook up the button right now. All we want to see is if our browser has Metamask installed or not. And what we can do is here just click open the site here in your browser. Then I'm going to have to refresh it. So I see here my button. It says enable Ethereum, but of course nothing happens. So what we need to do is we need to right click and then go to inspect element. And all the way over here where it says console, click on console. And then we should see, you can actually ignore these messages because this is for my Tron link wallet. So if you see some red, I cannot delete it. If you see this, doesn't mean my code is wrong. It just, this is from Tron Web. But what we see here is in our console log, we can see now Metamask is installed because I'm here on a browser that has Metamask installed. So I'm going to copy this link here again, and I open up my incognito browser. So I have to refresh here as well. We have the same buttons still saying enable Ethereum, but if I go here now to inspect element here, and I go here to the console as well, it says now install Metamask, because by default incognito window doesn't have access to any browser extension, and therefore we can now see that we need to install Metamask on here. So this is now really good for us. So now we know how we can detect a Web3 browser in our browser. So let me go back here to the code and actually let's add here some information. So I'm going, well, go back here. So let me go back to my code editor, and here in our index.html file, now we're going to create here a div